Now, going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Vivek to stop TV ads, but goes viral on X. Now, this comes to us a couple of days ago on the Twitter, or as more and more people are calling it X, and got 2.1 million views and 22,000 likes, which is another friendly reminder to like this video because it will help with the YouTube algorithm. And maybe the Rumble algorithm? I'm not sure how that one works yet. Nevertheless, Vivek, excuse me, says, quote, presidential TV ad spending is idiotic, low ROI, and a trick that political consultants use to bamboozle candidates who suffer from low IQ. We're doing it differently, spending money in a way that follows data, apparently a crazy idea in U.S. politics. Big surprise coming on January 15th, American flag, unquote, or American flag emoji specifically. And he is responding to someone by the name of Election Wizard. And I'd say they get an A+ for marketing because the profile picture of Election Wizard is in fact a wizard. And this person says, quote, NBC News, Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign will stop all TV ad spending less than a month before the Iowa and New Hampshire, unquote. So it's an interesting move on the political chessboard because, again, with certain social media platforms is much more effective and much easier to target, I'm going to say target demographics. It sounds grammatically incorrect. I'm sure it is. But it's much easier to build a customer profile set. It's a little bit easier to kind of put together a game plan in that regard. Where TV, yes, you know a little bit of that data. It's kind of the average viewership for certain programs is different. But also, I really wonder how compelling TV ads are in general. I always scrutinize the automotive industry because, I mean, you'll have a sports balls commercial or sports balls event and they'll have a commercial for the new truck or whatever. And I mean, how many people are honestly influenced to go out and buy a truck because they saw it on the TV? Like, when you're looking to buy a vehicle, it's such a huge expense these days, thanks to a myriad of things, including labor unions as well as government regulations. But it's one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make in your life. Are you influenced because you saw a picture of one on the TV? Because it does something that the little disclaimer in the bottom actually says you're not actually supposed to do, hilariously enough, or do not attempt. But I was always skeptical about the effectiveness of TV ads. Now, in terms of the comments and the feedback, one of the comments comes from James Lynette saying, quote, bucking the status quo and thinking outside the box, that's what made Vivek a successful businessman and what will win him this election, unquote. That got 115 likes. Let's see here. Robert J. Salvador says, quote, is a big surprise your endorsement of Trump? None of us are surprised. We're just wondering when he gives the instructions to you, unquote. It got 178 likes. So, again, a little bit more contrarian statements brewing to the surface. Marjorie Taylor Greene press release parody account says, quote, X is a way better return on investment, unquote, getting 297 likes. 2024 War Room says, quote, who needs ads when you are doing 8 campaign stops a day in Iowa? What the hell actually looks... Oh, WTF. Oh, no, I guess who the hell actually looks at a TV ad and goes, damn, I was really against this person, but now I'm all in, unquote. I got 162 likes. Personal's Mary Ambassi says, quote, Vivek, you know how to curry favor with Republican voters, unquote. Getting 380 likes. Mary Taylor Bowden, MD, says, quote, agree, what do you think of mailers? Does anyone actually read them, unquote, getting 33 likes, which, no, I mean, it's hard to say with mailers. It's one of those things where part of marketing is, being different. And part of the reason I always send a handwritten card whenever I have a meeting with a client or they purchase or they do a project with us, I partially do it because no one gets snail mail over the days, and even less people get handwritten cards. Now, with print for presidential candidates, if it was done creatively and you had some bullet points where it says their actual stance on, XYZ topics, perhaps it could be compelling. But overall, based on the low-quality materials that they use for mass market of a lot of the paper media that they put out in terms of the stuff you get in your mailbox, I can't help but suspect it'd probably be just the thinness of like a grocery flyer. It's a whole science of marketing, which I find fascinating, but I suspect overall it would not be compelling for most presidential candidates. Though if you disagree, it'd be fascinating to hear if you actually have a use case of, something you got in the mail or it kind of changed your opinion on a candidate. Going back to the comment section, Republicans against Trump simply said, quote, go away, unquote, getting 104 likes. Yoon Bad Ombre says, quote, the Twitter X space with the accidental sound effects was worth $5 million in ads, unquote, getting 58 likes. Excuse me. A witty fellow says, quote, I'm going to be super disappointed if there isn't a hot air balloon traversing the country with Vivek 2024 plastered all over it, unquote, getting 49 likes. Which, again, that'd be kind of hilarious and different, actually. Wouldn't be a terrible idea for an advertisement for a campaign. I mean, again, why it's so much wiser than me, actually, you know, they thought of the whole inception of differentiate or die. Because, again, there's so much competition with pretty much darn near every product consumers have these days. There's so much competition, you gotta be different. You know, stand out from the crowd. See here, we'll do a couple more. Bruce Fendon said, quote, expert consultants who depend on making 10 to 18% commissions on ad buys all agree with that candidates should spend more money on ads, unquote. Got 82 likes. See here, do one or two more. Tom Paprick said, quote, maybe be a cope, but it makes sense. Vivek isn't trying to reach the people who watch TV. He's trying to watch the people who watch Joe Rogan, unquote, getting 57 likes. But actually, that might be a business or marketing fail. I'm not sure if he's been on Joe Rogan yet. Granted, it's not 100% guarantee if you ask, you're going to get on the show. That's kind of a mystery in and of itself, how he picks candidates. Let's see here. Paul Spruza says, quote, presidential TV as spending is idiotic, especially for every candidate since they have no chance against Trump. I like a lot of Vivek has said, but Trump is the nominee. Imagine if all the money, campaign money Vivek and other candidates spent on ads instead went to help vets, unquote. I got 83 likes, which, it's kind of a cliched argument. Like, imagine instead of using this money for one thing, use it for something else. But, I mean, they're all spending the money for one reason or another. A lot of people are suspecting that Chris Christie he's spending a lot of money on his campaign so he can presumably get a candidate position in the Democratic Party. And others think that they could become president. Statistically, they won't. Though that does bring up a good point. Let's pull up the poll aggregator and see where the average is at this right now. So again, this is a poll aggregator, and it's an aggregator of all polls coming from projects.538.com, specifically for the presidential primary. You got Trump coming in at 61.2%, DeSantis down to 11.7%, Nikki Haley coming back up a little bit, she's at 11%, and Vivek is actually down to 3.5%. Chris Christie is ballooned, pun moderately intended. Chris Christie's at 3.4%. H. Hutchinson is about the same, excuse me, at 0.6%. So again, the poll aggregator comes in at Trump 61.2%, DeSantis 11.7%, Nikki Haley at 11%, Vivek at 3.5%, Chris Christie at 3.4%, and Hutchinson at 0.6%. So interestingly enough, again, Vivek, I feel like, again, he's saying a lot of really compelling things on the campaign trail. He's making a lot of unique decisions, using a lot of unique media. He's really utilizing social media brilliantly. More effect, at least anecdotally speaking, he's getting a lot more views, a lot more responses, a lot more interaction on social media. Granted, I know it's not one-to-one direct correlation between that and polling actual votes, but it is interesting to see the polls for him. And again, there's also the nuance of the polls. The sample sizes aren't the best, but again, we're working with the data that we hear of right now. He's just not going in the right direction. I think he peaked around 11% a couple months ago. So again, it'll be interesting to see as he starts to divert his resources. He is, I believe, the only candidate who actually pays for X Premium. If you look at other candidates, a couple of them pay for the business account, but he's the one for his organization or his campaign looks like it has a full-blown business account, which is like a $10,000 account. It's a pretty penny, as some might say. Well, a pretty vintage penny, since modern pennies are 99.99% zinc, which is garbage. But nevertheless, it'll be interesting to see as he starts to move that investments where he's previously using it for TV ads, where else he's going to put it, and could it be a more effective way of using his campaign dollars to move up the polls? Let me know if you think this will be a good move for him in the right direction, or perhaps it could be detrimental. It's fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of December, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a like also helps the video with the algorithm, and the feedback with the comments is greatly appreciated. Lets me know how I can make the show better and better. Also, lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone just stay safe, fight the good fight,